Okay, so the first relationship we want to learn is the relationship between the future value and the present value. Okay, how do you convert a present value to the future? How do you convert a future value to the present so that you can compare different options? Okay, so we got different scenarios. The first scenario is finding f, the future value, when given p, the present value, I, the interest rate, and n, the number of interest periods. So that's the first scenario we will see. Many real life cases are under this scenario, okay? And one more thing is you can write a term to simplify this scenario. So here is how you write it. So F means what you want to find out. So you put the first letter as like what you want to find out. So if you put F at the beginning of this term, means you want to find out F, and the slash means given. So find out F given what condition? Given P, the present value, comma, given I, the interest rate, comma, given N, the number of interest period. That's how you can simplify this scenario, okay? Just try to learn how to write this simplification term. Okay, now let's take a look at the real case. So, what is under this scenario? Suppose you borrow 8,000 now, okay, 8,000 now, that's a present value, and promise to repay the loan principal plus accumulated interest in 4 years, okay, and the interest will be calculated every year. The rate is 10%. So the N is given as 4 and I is given as 10%. Then your question could be, how much would you repay at the end of the 4th year? Okay, so you're looking for the future equivalent of this cash flow, right? And you can draw this type of cash flow like this. So you got the timeline, and you look at this from your viewpoint. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And you borrow 8,000 now. So you have 8,000 as income. And the interest rate is 10%. Just label that on this time scale. And then you want to know how much you pay at the end of the 4th year, so that payment is equal to this cash flow, okay? So you want to know what is the future value of this cash flow. That's the cash flow diagram description of this statement, okay? And then also for this scenario, we can also draw a cash flow diagram like this. So this is a generic cash flow diagram for such scenario. So usually have a timeline, but you don't know how many years or how many interest periods you have. So you label it as 0, 1, 2, 3. This means ... means unknown periods. And then you hit n minus 2, n minus 1, and then you get the end of the nth time periods, okay? So this is a generic time scale. The n could be 5 or 10 or whatever numbers based on the real case, okay? And then usually this scenario will give you a present value, P, which is given. Okay, and also the I will be given, and the question you want to answer is what is the equivalent future value at the end, right? And if you have arrowhead going down at the beginning as the present value, that means you spend some money, and the question you want to answer will be how much you can get back. So the amount you question will be going upward. Okay, and then you have the F, that's your future equivalent value, and usually it's unknown. So this is just a generic cash flow diagram for such scenario. Okay, and another scenario is find the P when the F is given. Of course, the I and N will be given as well. Okay, so you also can simplify this scenario by writing this term. So because you want to find out P, you want to write the letter P at the beginning of this term, and then the dash is the given. The angled line is the given, and the F is the given condition. So when the future value is given, and then the interest rate is given, and also the number of periods is given. Okay, that's how you simplify this scenario. And here we got a real case to help you understand this scenario. Suppose you have an option to buy a piece of land that will be worth 10,000 in 6 years. So this 10,000 in 6 years will be a future value of that piece of land. Okay, so this is a given F. And you know the value of the land increases at 8% each year. So that's your I. So the question is, how much should you be willing to pay now for this property? Of course, you want to pay as less as you can, but you want to know maximum price you want to pay so that you don't lose a lot. Okay, so you want to find out the equivalent present value for that future 10,000 in 6 years. And the diagram you can draw from your point of view will be the timeline 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 6 years. And then the interest is 8% each year. So I is 8%. And you know that the future value of that piece of land will be 10,000. So you can sell that piece of land as 10,000. That's your income. So it's arrow going upward, 10,000. And now you want to know what is the present value of it. And you want to just pay the present value. Okay? Or you want to pay less than the present value, which is a good deal. But maximum, you want to pay the equivalent present value. Okay? So the P is unknown, so it's dashed line, dashed arrow. That's how you can, draw the cash flow diagram for this scenario. Okay, so here we have another 2 scenarios. Okay, the first one is to find the interest rate I given P, F, and N. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. So here we have a new scenario, which is to find the interest rate I given P, F, and N. So what you know is your present value, your future value, and the number of periods, but you want to know what interest rate can make your present value equals to your future value, okay? So here is one real case about that. Suppose that you have 10,000 that can be invested in a stock now. Okay, that's 10,000 you can pay for a stock at present. So that's your P. And you wish that after 5 years you can get 50,000 back. So that's your future value. Okay, so after 5 years, so that's your number of periods. So your question is, what was the average annual rate of interest a stock should have to make this happen? Okay, so which stock you want to buy? Because stock, they will have like average interest rate. Okay, you can check it on the website. So now you want to pick out the one you want so that you can make 50,000 after 5 years. Okay, to answer this, exactly what you want to find out is the interest. Okay, you calculate out the interest, and then you find the stock which has that interest. That's the one you want to buy. Okay, then the last scenario is finding the N when given P, F, and I. So you know your present value, you know the equivalent future value, you know the interest rate, but you don't know how long it's gonna be to make the present value equals to the future value. So an example could be, suppose you have 10,000 that can be invested in your retirement insurance plan, right? So we all invest in our retirement plan because we want to have some money back to the pocket after we retire, right? So the 10,000 is some money you can invest now. That's your P. And you wish after you retire, well, you don't know when to retire. You don't know how long it's gonna be. But you want, after you retire, you want to get 1 million back. Ooh, that's a big number. So that's your future value. But you also know that the insurance plan you can invest will give you 5% every year as an interest rate. So that's the I. Then the question is how many years you should be waiting, or when you should retire. So the real question is, what is the N? How many years that can happen? Okay, so these are the 4 scenarios we can solve, or we can compare using the relationship between F, P, I, and N.